r/askreddit. What thing that has been scientifically proven is still denied/disliked by some people? Cats can understand an average of 50 words, and they don't give a shit about 49 of them. My cat hates it when the dog is outside. She will meow louder and louder by the door till she comes back. Then she'll turn around and go back to her perch and go back to ignoring everything. Territorial property. Some cats whine at the door because they define a portion of the outdoors as their territory and a barrier is preventing them from moving freely through it. Your cat defines its dog as its property and is complaining you've let it get out. LMAO. This is hilarious. Who the yuck let my dog out again? Cat opens back patio door, standing on its hind legs, both feet in fuzzy pink slippers, wearing a blue fuzzy ankle length robe tied at the waist. Cat is wearing hair rollers and a scarf loosely holding them in place. It holds a steaming cup of coffee in a forepaw. Cat begins to call for the dog, all the while furiously cursing under its breath. Cats are way more intelligent than people give them credit for. They look stupid to a lot of people because they simply don't give a shit. We've dubbed my cat as too smart for his own good, and thank God he doesn't have thumbs. He loves Q-tips. We keep the Q-tips in a drawer in the bathroom. He knows this, so he will open the drawer and pull out one single Q-tip from the box to play with. Better a Q-tip than pens. My old Siamese mix loved to throw pens around and bat them across the floor. The tile floor. At 4 AM. One of my customers at work says he will never have a cat because he doesn't want a pet that's more intelligent than him. That's some brutally honest self-assessing right there lol. I have a colleague who told me he'd never get a cat because he didn't want to be disrespected in his own home. To be fair, intelligence greatly varies from cat to cat. One of my cats, sweet baby that he is dumber than a bag of hollow rocks and everyone who has ever met him wonders how he managed to survive on the streets. Other one can open drawers, cupboards, and doors which lead to me needing to put baby locks on most drawers in the flat. He seems to understand well over 50 words and could be taught commands if he wasn't such a spoiled little bastard. He will learn new command within one day but will then just keep repeating it without being prompted to do so to get treats. Other than fetch, he does that willingly. This is super true. Having worked with animals and at a zoo, I completely knew that cats were super intelligent and most definitely could be trained. However, I was still surprised when I watched a training session with my friend and her cat and he actually listened lol. Their general attitudes are extremely misleading. When we got our dog, my wife and I hired a trainer since he was our first dog and a rescue. We ended up having to close one of our cats in the basement when the trainer would come over because she would take over the lesson. She learned to sit and stay for treats, haha. Our female cat has learned that when I go into our bedroom in the evening she will get a few treats. She is always waiting for me, so it seems like I've trained her. Our male cat, on the other hand, won't move to get treats, so I have to leave them close enough that he doesn't have to, so it seems like he's trained me. We accidentally Pavloved the cat into disturbing our sleep every night too. She is not super cuddly, but does like to cuddle a bit at night. My wife and I use guided meditations or sleep music to go to bed. My cat has trained herself to come rushing up to the bed now every time the sleep music starts, and she will trample over our heads and upper body screaming if we don't pet her and let her make biscuits on us, haha. My cousin the crazy cat guy has a cat who probably understands 99 words, and she totally ignores 99 of them. Great Mouser though. I was raised with dogs my whole life and got my first cat about 3 years ago. It totally makes sense to me that if my dogs could be trained to react to words, then the cat should also be entirely able to do so. But he doesn't. He just has no single uck to give, except when I ask if he's hungry. Cats are not very biddable, meaning they don't care about what you want. It does not bring them satisfaction to do what you want them to do. When I notice my cat's bowl is empty, I say, "You want yummy?" They run to their bowl so fast lol. I also say nom nom cuz when they work at ins I'd say that too lol. I say time to get up and they run to the kitchen. When I go to bed, I sometimes shout to my kittens, and they come check me out. That is adorable, OMG. My cat responds positively to Kitty because he thinks that's his name probably. He also definitely knows God damn it and get the yuck away from me. He's my special little boy and I love him. but sometimes goddammit he needs to get the yuck away from me. I love that last sentence is basically how every person describes their cat or cats. I love my cat so much, I'd kill for them, but they are also a giant pain in my ass and sometimes I want to punt them over the fence lol. The alpha wolf theory was disproven by its author. I feel so bad for that guy. He spent the rest of his life trying to correct his mistake, but idiots who don't understand how science works wouldn't listen. Similar situation to the author of Jaws. Spent the rest of his life trying to educate people that sharks weren't as dangerous as he had made them out to be. For the story, we kill millions of them, often in cruel ways like catching, cutting off their fins, and then dumping them back in the water every year, and there are only a handful of shark bites almost certainly from humans, especially on surfboards if I recall, being mistaken for seals and stuff, and almost only a single bite. Recently we've also confirmed that sharks are absolutely essential to the health of oceans, especially reefs, where it used to be thought that a reef was healthy with tons of smaller fish and very few sharks, but now we find that healthy reefs have tons of sharks and other top predators. We murder them in the millions, they bite a few people a year and kill even fewer, and they are key to saving the oceans. It's like the lady who deeply regrets starting the gender reveal thing when she was just trying to find a way to celebrate with family after a previous pregnancy loss. The line of cause and effect between one woman holding a baby shower with a pink box cake and someone else shooting and killing a grandma is incredible. Edit, misspelled shooting. The grandma got killed by a piece of metal flying out one those gunpowder gender reveals and hit her in the head, killing her. For everyone asking, there's people who are probably cursing her name cause I heard that a gender reveal polluted a village's water supply. They've also started a few fires IRC. Don't forget the plague that was set unto our houses. The fact that we are discussing it means that he was at least somewhat successful in his pursuit. The fact that any asshole who steamrolls people and doesn't give a f what anyone else thinks or feels cites being an alpha shows that he was largely unsuccessful in his pursuit lol. What is the alpha wolf theory? I never heard of it. That wolves all follow behind a designated alpha. It's an origin for the whole alpha male thing. Meanwhile the actual alpha travels at the back of the pack lol. That, and the alpha is usually the parent / elder and or more experienced one and looks out for its pack as a whole, and has absolutely nothing to do with being a dominating a whole. Pretty much this. Wolf packs in the wild are nearly always family groups where the dominant mated pair are the parents of all, or most of the more junior wolves. And there is very little violence within packs. Wolves do attack and kill other wolves, but these are almost always members or rival packs killed in disputes over territorial owners that had the misfortune to get caught trespassing. Alpha wolves don't exist. The Jude observed wolves in captivity and the leader of the group were literally the parents, not some ethereal concept of a dominant animal. The real conclusion was that if you throw wolves into prison, they form prison gangs. Yeah, I heard the original paper being described as similar to trying to glean the family bonds in a human society by only observing unrelated humans stuck in prison, and the author of course recognized that as the limitation right after. MSG is a delicious and perfectly healthy addition to a number of dishes, and MSG occurs naturally in many foods, such as tomatoes and cheeses. That is why food made with them just tastes better. So my coworker that would insist on no MSG in his Chinese lunch order but also didn't eat anything tomato based or having cheese on it might have been legitimate, that it made him ill? Interesting. A tiny number of people have sensitivities to MSG, meaning they have trouble with all foods containing MSG, not just the ones with MSG added as a seasoning. I vaguely remember that it has something to do with a vitamin K deficiency, something your coworker might want to look into. As I recall, it can be remedied. My husband can't eat it. He has temporal lobe epilepsy and a small number of people with it can be triggered by excessive amounts of MSG. So he has a low MSG diet, suggested by his neurologist. So it's not all bullshit, just rare. I read about where the MSG slander came from, and wouldn't you know it, the reason was racism. I'm Asian and my mom believes in that shit. She got very embarrassed whenever I brought friends over because she thought they would judge how our food smelled. She's so self-conscious about small stuff like that. That is sad. I would love to eat the cultural home cooking of someone who invited me over as a guest. So delicious. that your diet can indeed affect your hormones and mood. And not just a bit but significantly. Yeah, I keep relearning how much salt my stupid body needs. Holy heck, is it a roller coaster when I get low? That Andrew Wakefield falsely linked the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine to autism in young children. And did so because he wanted to discredit the vaccine so he could sell his own. Complete scumbag that was thoroughly discredited in the UK, then went to America and made millions and dated a supermodel. Life isn't fair. He's responsible for the deaths of untold numbers of people. If there's any justice in the afterlife, he's very deeply yucked. As an autistic person, I always say that if vaccines were turning people autistic, America would have a lot better train network. Haha. My brother has Asperger's syndrome, and he says that he gets vaccines to make sure he has the latest updates. The carbon footprint was invented by BP. You know, the guys that inundated the Gulf of Mexico with crude oil a couple times. It's among the first and best disinformation campaigns to this day. It pushed the responsibility of carbon emissions cleanly from corporations to the people. I hate whenever I see some ad of a company bragging about becoming carbon neutral. If you look into it, it'll either be them donating money to research or planting some trees. That doesn't mean they aren't still polluting the hell out of the environment. It's just PR nonsense. It's part of a real problem in the USA. The common person bears the brunt of the nation. Bang gas stoves while they use private jets. Pay taxes while they enjoy numerous avoidance strategies. Donate a maximum of $3,300 to a campaign while they have no limit. Sugar is way worse than fat. Heck, the whole fats are the enemy thing was a disinformation campaign masterminded by the effing sugar industry specifically to prevent governments from imposing regulations on them. Mentioned this to my daughter last night and she laughed and said big sugar, and I'm like, yes, exactly. I'm not joking, lol. The laws of thermodynamics. Lisa had to be told though. Lisa, in this house we obey the laws of thermodynamics. Autism is hereditary. It's real interesting. I once dated a woman who had an identical twin with nonverbal autism. The only difference in their upbringing before the autism was diagnosable was that the woman I dated weighed slightly more at birth. But it was fairly obvious that the twin was different before formal diagnosis. She would pull away and avoid looking at stuffed animals in her face, and she actually had accelerated verbal growth compared to the average. After the first stage of usual infant development, when people undergo the first stage of brain trimming and reshaping, the twin lost all of those words and can't do anything more than no, groans, and laughs. I guess what I'm getting at it, autism is hereditary, but also complicated. My ex and her identical twin got the same treatment, same uterus environment, same vaccinations, same everything, but she was verbal and not diagnosed, and her twin was nonverbal autistic. From what I've read, it's that it can be hereditary, but there are also unknown factors. Sort of like breast cancer, you can get it because you have the BRCA gene, or you can not have that gene and get it anyway, and nobody fully understands all the different causes. Yeah, it essentially comes down to autism is caused by genetics, some environment, probably some other stuff, but we don't know everything. We don't know all the specifics and all the combinations of scenarios and the amount of random chance, so yes, genetics does play a significant role, but it's not everything. Even fingerprints differ between identical twins. A body part is not the same as neurotypes, but you get the gist. Thank you.